So I have another confession to make. I do. I got a lot of confessions. I'm a guilty soul in art. Anyway, sort of along the lines of my last confession, I've never read Harry Potter either. Of course, I have seen one of the films, the fourth one, I think, and bits and pieces of a couple others, you know, enough to get it. I mean, it's basically Ender's Game with wizards, right? Essentially. Anywho. And I don't have a problem with Harry Potter. That's not what this is. I mean, it's not my thing, and, you know, I wasn't its demographic when it came out, but I don't have a problem with J.K. Rowling by any means. What few bits I managed to read while flipping through in bookstores and such was very evocative and well written. A little too many double adjectives for my taste, but on the whole, very, quite good. But there is one thing that I have a problem with. One particular and very specific bone to pick. One point of contention that Miss Rowling completely misses the mark on. That being, namely, J.K. Rowling clearly hasn't the foggiest notion of an idea about the sexual priorities of an adolescent male. Zero. And that's where, for me, the children's story about a fantasy world populated with wizards and magic just fails to connect. All the rest I could buy hook, line, and sinker with nary a thought. I mean, my disbelief would be so suspended you could call it David Carradine. But for this one admittedly trifling issue, I mean, come on. Are you kidding me? You're a teenager, a teenage boy has magical powers. I mean, there were no passages of like, yeah, Dumbledore, Voldemort, the whole thing, that's great, gonna kill me, take over everything, blah, blah, I get that, that's great. Listen, where's the nearest Hooters? I mean, wouldn't that be great, a teddy bar at Hogwarts? Of course, Hogwarts actually sounds like a strip club, like one of those ironic strip club names, you know. Welcome to Hogwarts, and up on the main stage is Death Eaten Diamond. Fellas, break open your wallets. But seriously, like, there's none of that. I was a teenage boy, and I knew what I wanted as a teenage boy, and I knew that if I had magic powers, there was no threat big enough that was gonna keep me from getting what I wanted, you know what I'm saying? Of course, we all know that, in the books, Harry Potter's as asexual as a Benedictine monk who watches Big Bang Theory. Yeah, I'll go with that. I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense. I mean, J.K. Rowling's not exactly a chick that oozes sex appeal. To me, anyway. I could be wrong. I mean, do you think she has groupies? Like, are there legions of horny men out there that just want to take J.K. Rowling to Pound Town? Or is that even a thing for writers? Are there chicks that would bang Stephen King? I don't know, I'm genuinely asking because I have no idea. Or bring it back around, is there any girl out there who looks at George R.R. Martin and is like, God damn, that homeless looking hunk of bearded up fupa moose knuckle man flesh gets my pussy so wet. I don't know why my female impression sounds like that, but she's done a lot of steroids. But seriously, has that ever happened? And if so, when? I would really like to interview like George R.R. Martin groupies. Like sexual groupies, not just the chicks that like his writing, whatever. But yeah, so I mean, Harry Potter, really, the only teenage boy in existence who has magical powers and doesn't use them to score some sweet punani. That shit is what makes it a fantasy, people, not the rest. Like none of that. That right there is what totally removes it from reality and makes it fiction. But, I mean, he did score with that Asian chick, right? Like in the epilogue, they had kids or something. Like flash forward 20 years and Harry's savior of the world is living some droll bourgeois suburban bullshit life, paying taxes, discussing drapery options, trying to contain his carbon footprint or some shit, stuck living with his Asian mother-in-law who reminds him at every opportunity how he's not good enough for her daughter. Now that would be a grimdark story we could all relate to. Harry Potter and the miserable grind of adult life. Wait. No, that's not right. Hold on. Oh, Wikipedia says he married Ginny Weasley. Oh, fuck. Screw grimdark. It should be a horror novel now. I mean, seriously, fucking gingers. And married to one for 20 years? What, those soulless, henna-headed heathens? I'd rather be raped by a dwarf.